We urge you to reject that request for additional witnesses. We will deal with the question of the defective affidavit, given that I've already run out of my time. When we respond to the case, I will still beseech you to give directions on the other requests we had made, which are in writing anyway, and on the questions of summons. The parties cannot be the ones requesting you to summon anyone. It has to be the select committee exercising its own independent mind to decide we need to hear from so and so. It cannot be me, it cannot be my learned friend telling you, or insisting or pushing you, summon so and so. Because a person summoned is not a witness of the cabinet secretary and is not a witness of the move of the motion. They are just someone summoned by the committee to enable it to understand something. Thank you.
Thank you. Honorable.
I'll kindly ask my lawyer to make just a brief statement about that.
Okay, may I press you, my lady? My lady, the issue before the honorable members of the select committee is a national issue of considerable gravity. And the objections that are being raised, with a tremendous respect to my land friend, they do trivialize what has been placed before you. And I urge you very respectfully, the members of the committee, that my land friend will have to be controlled. Otherwise, we may not be able to dispose of the matter before you within the timelines that have been given at all. If I may very respectfully refer you to the Constitution, which my land friend is relying on, and which he has been emphasized very much. Your Honor, if you look at Article 1, Article 1, Article 1, sub-Article 1, says sovereignty of the people. All sovereign power belongs to the people of Kenya and shall be exercised only in accordance with this Constitution. And 2, which is perhaps more important than what I've read to you, the people may exercise their sovereign power either directly or through their democratically elected representatives. It is now democratically elected representatives who are seized of this matter. And they cannot be controlled, or the issues that are before the court, before this select committee, cannot be washed or swept under the carpet by raising trivial objections at all. It's my humble submission that you overrule my land friend. You don't have to waste time. And in doing so, you'll be guided by the able ruling that was delivered by our Speaker on 30th April 2024, which is before you. I don't wish to waste most of your time or much of your time at all. I would prefer that we get on with the job so that we meet the timelines and we are able to proceed with the matter before you. Finally, I may point out that my land friend, from what I can see, is trying really to buy time so that we do not finish this matter within the stipulated timelines we have been given. That's all.
Thank you,
Madam Chair, out of curiosity, if indeed the minister is innocent, why is he worried about the witnesses? This is a matter of national interest, as my lawyer has said. If indeed you are innocent, Kenyans want to know. Could be someone is trying to bring witch hunt to the minister. Let us be allowed to bring each and everybody who will set him free. The jury is in the public. When a minister, relax. Let Kenyans.
Honorable Amboka, we are just beginning the process, and please do not rush to the conclusion, and limit yourself to the time that we have given you. And may I also advise all the other parties to adhere to the time allocated during the hearing, and also the witnesses that should note that they cannot go outside time allocated to each party. Again, it is important to note that the witnesses' submission must fit within the time allocated. If we respect that, then we'll be able to conclude on time. Now, I would want to take this time to give the ruling as per the requests that both the parties made last evening. Honorable members, given the Constitution timeline within which the committee must conclude this process, the detailed rationale behind the decision on the preliminary issues and questions will be elucidated in the committee's final report. Having said this, on the preliminary issues that the affidavit is defective, we have overruled the preliminary objection, having looked at Article 152(7) of the Constitution and Standing Orders 47(4)A, 64, and 66. Number two, it is noteworthy that it is the exclusive authority of the Speaker of the National Assembly to determine the question of admissibility of a proposed special motion for dismissal of Cabinet Secretary, a matter that was already determined. We are now at the stage of investigation by the committee, the question of admissibility having been determined by the Speaker. Number three, consequently, I direct that committee shall proceed to hear the matter and discharge its mandate as required under Article 152(7) of the Constitution. Number four, as stated earlier, we shall give a detailed and reasoned ruling in our report on this matter. The question, can we admit new evidence? Honorable members, on whether the mover can call before the committee witness whose statement were not initially part of the motion as passed by the House, it is notable that Standing Order 64 primarily concerns procedural matters and does not prescribe the specific evidence to be presented before the committee. Number two, what is important is that these investigations by this committee should and will not go outside the allegations in the special motion. Number three, consequently, the committee shall allow any party to invite witnesses or produce new evidence, provided that the evidence strictly relates to the allegations contained in the motion. Number four, the committee will not entertain any witness or evidence that is not relevant to or that purports to introduce new allegations outside the allegations as passed by the National Assembly. Number 5, we shall give a detailed and reasoned ruling in our report on this matter. Can the committee summon the Principal Secretary for the State Department for Agriculture and the Managing Director for KELS Chemical Limited as requested by the sponsor of the motion? The response: Article 125 of the Constitution, Section 18 of the Parliamentary Powers and Privileges Act, Standing Order 191, and our own rules of procedures gives power to this committee to summon any person to appear before it. Having said this, Honorable Wanami Wamboka should first provide the evidence for laying basis for the request so as to demonstrate the need for the exercise by the committee to summon the Principal Secretary for the State Department for Agriculture and the Managing Director for KELS Chemical Limited. The parties are accordingly guided. On referral of matters under consideration by the Select Committee, I urge all parties to restrain themselves from referring to the substance of the proceedings of the Select Committee before the committee has concluded and made up its report to the House. As per the adjustment of time, the committee has agreed that opening statement will take 40 minutes, cross-examination and under the sponsor and the cabinet secretary, we have given 60 minutes, and the rest of the witnesses 20 minutes. Closing statement, 1 hour. The parties are, as I said, the parties are accordingly guided, and we will proceed.
Much obliged, Your Honor.
Thank you. Opening statements by Honorable Wamboka, and you have 40 minutes, sorry, 40 minutes. Sorry. As I said, we have allocated 40 minutes, and please be guided by the clock on the left, on our left, and on your right.
My 40 minutes.
This is a case of gross violations of the Constitution, gross misconduct, and ministerial responsibility. National agenda of this administration of William Ruto on food security is noble. And from the onset, I must say, we support the president because agriculture is the backbone. If the country is food secure, then you have a healthy nation. It is too critical a matter for this country to be jeopardized. Madam Chair, this motion highlights various violations meted out against innocent Kenyans through distribution of fertilizer, as we will be demonstrating to this noble committee. Consumer rights have been violated, and someone must be held accountable. Ministry of Agriculture and Livestock has got ahead. Who must take responsibility? In fact, in serious democracies, by now, the minister should have resigned from the committee. This is one of the flagship of Honorable William Ruto. And as I said, we support the president. And that is why I'll draw your attention to the voting in the House. Honorable Chair, it was bipartisan. It was bipartisan. That is how serious this matter is. I've looked at the responses from my good friend, and indeed is my friend, Linturi. There's a lawyer saying that says, I would wish that this should become this, so that I don't listen to what the Honorable Minister is trying to say. That, Honorable Chair, 149 members of who are in the House did not vote. It should be understood that 24 members of Parliament were out of the country, had petitioned the clerk of the National Assembly if they can vote virtually. 24. Those numbers are growing. It is incredibly and serious. Honestly, a whole National Assembly saying something is wrong. Something is wrong. And it will be whatever happens to this case, it will be it will be not business as usual. Because that voting, it was a vote of no confidence to the minister. It has consequences. I would be keen to imagine how ambassadors will be dealing with it. Our good friends on high moral ground, the United States, the EU, of which we shall be appealing to them that indeed the National Assembly has passed a vote of no confidence. In that alone, it speaks volumes. It speaks volumes. And I think the minister has guts even to be here today. This motion is not about me. This motion is not about the National Assembly. I had some good friends in Meru saying we are targeted. No, we have very many good Merus, including my good friend, who is at times my lawyer. He's a good Meru. He's a good Meru. It's not about Merus. Merus are good people, and I want it to be understood in this committee. It is not about Kenya Kwanza. Honorable Chair, it's not about Azimio. It is Honorable Franklin Mithika Linturi versus the Republic of Kenyan farmers and diaspora. I did indicate I come from a border town. Ugandans buy things from Kenya. Kenyans buy things from Uganda. My good sister would know this. Nahayo, the Iron Lady, would understand this. The Ugandans came and bought fertilizer from Kenya, subsidized. What should they do? what should they do? I have looked at the document submitted by my good friend Linturi, and it's nothing more than a love letter from a jilted lover. That these are grievous matters of national importance to be reduced to love matters. Ukiachwa achika. Achika. It is indeed unfair to keep dragging the good lady, my sister, Marianne, into these matters. She has a right kukukata, kukukubali. Allow her to proceed on with her life. And I'm sure the Kenyan ladies are taking offense of this, including the Honorable Chair, that it should be unfair that your private matters should keep coming up anytime serious matters are raised. The good lady should be left in peace because she has a life, she has a family, she has children, and she needs to move on. We shall speak. This is a select committee. We shall say that we to this committee. I did indicate yesterday that very many people approached me to drop this motion. I refused. And in fact, I told one of them, I'm different from the Honorable Linturi. It should be understood, Honorable Chair, that the Honorable Linturi started a process such as this. This was going to be the second one in the new constitutional order. Had he been serious, he went ahead, he collected signatures, it was put on the order paper, his motion. What did he do? He went to Naivasha, was given money and love.
Chair.
That indeed it is a demonstration.
Chair, I have a point of order.
Point of order by
Yes.
Honorable George.
We've made it very clear that any statements made by a witness, the sponsor, or the respondent must be substantiated. Allegations have been made about going to Naivasha, money being exchanged, and unfortunately we do not have any substantiation on that. Let's not use this opportunity to malign one another. I think we should observe decorum, decency, and we must be relevant.
Honorable Chair, it is indeed in public. It is indeed in National Assembly records that a motion to impeach one Anne Waiguru appeared in the order paper. It is indeed in records of the courts. In the divorce case of the Honorable Franklin Mithika Linturi and Aldai Member of Parliament, Marianne Keitani, as to where the member...
Honorable Wamboka, I think you should limit yourself to the subject.
Well guided, Chair. But Madam Chair, I'm a serious Kenyan. I had to do this, and I have done this. Those who don't know, I'm defined by Bayaya, Bala, Banyangali, and Batachoni clans. That definition, those sub-tribes cannot allow me to be bought, cannot allow me to be subverted. That is why we are here. It's because I'm serious, and I will die for the farmers of Kenya. The Honorable Minister has dragging me in dragging strangers in the name of my alleged affairs, which cannot negate the fact that innocent Kenyans are suffering. I would want to understand by you saying that
so-and-so is Jack's wife, is the honorable member's wife. How does that relate to the suffering of Kenyans? How does that relate? And if indeed honorable chair of Justice Committee is fair, is only seeing one side when we speak, why should the minister bring no, I'm reacting. It is in his submissions.
I don't want this committee to be turned, this investigation to be turned into love affair investigation. Please limit yourself to your motion.
Yes, Honorable Chair, but it must be noted and be on record that in his submissions.
Point of order. Yeah, point of order by Honorable Rachel, Dr.
Chair, I did not intend to interfere with statements that the Honorable Wamboka is making, but I would like to raise a matter on Standing Order 77 concerning the language that we use. And 77 says, all proceedings in the House shall be conducted in Kiswahili, English, or in Kenyan Sign Language. Twice, Honorable Chair, the Honorable Wamboka has mentioned words in a language that we did not understand, and I thought that he was going to translate so that we can understand. This may make us miss some of the information that he would like to tell us. So is it in order for him to use that language, which I'm not able to tell which language it is, because we are not able to understand that particular portion?
I'm sorry, Madam Chair. What I meant is I would wish that my ears become my sitting apparatus so that I cannot hear all this. That's what I meant. But well guided. Madam Chair, I've got one wife, which is public knowledge. This is not a forum to bequeath me with imaginary wives. And in any case, does it matter? I'm on this honorable chair because he brought it. If you look at his submissions, it's there.
Point of order, Chair. Point of order by Honorable Jane.
Chair, I believe it is very important that if you make a ruling, the honorable member understands that you are directing him on what to confine himself on. And Honorable Chair, if someone disregards that ruling, then you should be able to also call them out of order.
Well guided. Well guided. Well guided. But just to note, this is not a divorce case. Madam Chair, we are discussing the conduct of Honorable Mithika Linturi, that we want him removed from the office. Out of this world, I was just imagining, when he was being interrogated to be minister, he said he has in excess of 30 cases in court. We are all Kenyans, members of parliament. Why him? Why him? Why him? We are speaking. We have a saying in the Luya land. The hyena told the stone. You remember the case of J.M. Kariuki when they were investigating his death. Mwangale told his house. It's a house of records. The hyena told the stone that even if you keep quiet, you've heard me. Honorable Mithika Linturi, even if through the chair, even if you keep quiet, you've heard the cries of the Kenyan people. Thank you, Madam Chair. Now call my lawyer, the Honorable Dr. Haminwa, to give the balance in my minutes. Asanteni sana, Mungu ambariki.
Honorable members of Select Committee, I feel really privileged to appear before you. It is a great honor.
Chair. Point of order by Honorable Moses.
When he was speaking from there, we were having difficulties to hear him. But again, he's there. We are still experiencing the same. We're not getting him well.
Okay, I'll speak loudly. I'm sorry.
Then closer to the
Your
microphone.
ears may be like mine. I'll try to speak loudly. Honorable select members, it's a great privilege to me to appear before you, particularly at my age. Last time I appeared in this matter of this kind was when we were handling Judicial Commission of Inquiry into Golden Bag. This was set up by the then President, Mwai Kibaki, and I had the honor and the privilege of being the lead counsel in that particular case. I thank the Honorable Member Wanani Wamboka for nominating me to appear for him in this matter. The matter you have before you is in some respects very substantially similar to the matter we had in Golden Park. Honorable members of the Select Committee, we have always had a problem in this country since we got independence. And the problem is of what I term, and some academicians term, portfolio corruption. Individuals who have been given portfolios and they are corrupt. The word corrupt here does not necessarily mean one taking money, but one not being responsible in his job or the job that he has been given by the president or by the state. This is the case we have in this before you today. What is important to look at is perception. Perception is important. Strictly speaking, in this case, one does not have to need evidence at all. It is a case that can be determined on perception. Honorable Linturi was given a high office of being Minister for Agriculture. If I may say so, this is perhaps the most powerful ministry in the government, which is supposed to take care of issues of poverty that we have in the country. He was responsible. He cannot turn around and say that I was not. He was responsible. And what I want to say to you, honorable members of the Select Committee, you must not try to determine this case on the technicalities. If you do so, you will be letting down Kenyans. I appear in the courts. Courts have got their own limitations. They have to go strictly by the law of evidence. Fortunately, before you, the law of evidence is not be all. You are quasi-judicial organ, and you are expected to look at this matter in a much broader manner than courts would do. Courts are technical, but you are not. You can decide to go a little bit, if not, look at the whole thing and see that is so and so guilty, according to perception. And that's why Wanana Wamboki, the one who was instructing me, brought this matter before you as representatives of the people to look at the matter very, very broadly. There is a concept prevailing in academic circles or in books and so on called state capture. This country is under state capture because of corruption
And the corruption can only be minimized, can only be swept under the carpet if Parliament rises to the occasion. Courts may make a contribution, but they are controlled by technicalities, the law of evidence. This noble house is not controlled by technicalities at all. Let us go by perception. Let us look at the matter in this very broad manner and find out whether we can get a solution for the country. As politicians sometimes say, let us find out what Mama Mboga would say about this. And indeed, if you go and carry out a census to find out what Mama Mboga would say, Mama Mboga would say, Honorable Linturi should have resigned long time ago as a matter of principle. He should not continue to be a minister in charge of agriculture at all. I urge you very respectfully, let us move on with those few remarks. Let us move on as quickly as possible and go back to do some work. If I may borrow the words that my client has used. Mr. Linturi, you would have done us great honor by resigning. You would have set a big precedent, and you would have gone down in history as a big man. Thank you. I have my senior assistant, Lady Asha, who would like to say a few words. Please allow her to say something. Thank you.
We allow her because you still have some time.
Yeah, thank you very much. Again, may I say you have been very kind to me. I thank you sincerely.
Thank you, members of this honorable committee, colleagues, and mine is to say that today is an important day in this country. This committee will set a precedence for this nation. This committee, honorable committee, will set a precedence in this country. The matter before us is not about the CS individually, but it's a collective issue that touches each and every Kenyan. The minister, as per even his documents, has mandate before the law, and one of the functions of the CS, just to highlight, is to appoint board members of public institutions. It is important throughout this hearing, we will also highlight how that was not done, despite it being his mandate. As we continue with the hearing, you will realize from the bundle of documents that there is a Fertilizer and Foodstuff Act that is Cap 345. The minister has duties directly to appoint a board. Honorable members, I request that we look at this matter holistically and we do not tie down this matter to a witch hunt as has been alleged. The minister was responsible to appoint the board. The board, as you can see, we will tabulate that as per the Act, is mainly to do the job of procuring, distribution, but specifically the issue of subsidized fertilizer. The minute the CS did not do that mandate that Kenyans, their constitution and acts of parliament gave to him, he actually saved Kenya. He actually put Kenyans in the situation we are in. It is important to note that as a result of that, there are various violations that arose from that act that he did not commit. Mine is to request this honorable committee to look at the matters before you in a holistic manner. Remember, there are Kenyans who are affected by this. This is a matter of national interest, and I thank the committee because there were rulings also from the previous Speaker Marende on issues on public interest matters in terms of technicalities. Again, I would request that we not only limit ourselves to looking at things that do not touch the subject matter of fake fertilizer, because that is the reason we are basically here. It's not that the mover of the motion woke up one morning and said, I want to impeach the Honorable Mithika Linturi. The basis of this is that as a public interest matter, there are Kenyans out there who have the fake fertilizer, and it is in public knowledge. So today before you, we want to stipulate what the CS has done in regards to the issue of fake fertilizer and stipulate the gross misconduct, because we are guided by the Constitution. So I humbly request that this honorable committee does not look at it from one angle. The issue here, let's not have diversion in terms of the nitty-gritty, but more importantly, let us highlight the issue of fake fertilizer that makes a great impact to this nation, because it affects the socio-economic rights, which is also an inherent right in the Constitution of Kenya. There are farmers out there who have not been able to have their produce, who have not been able to plant, and that had ripple effect not only to the farmer and the family, but to the economy and food security. So I would wish the committee to consider this thing holistically and look at the aspects that it touches. It's not about a witch hunt, about the CS. As Kenyans, we want to come to the bottom of this, because food security is important to all of us. If there is food shortage, it affects all of us. Therefore, I request humbly and with humility that the committee gives us the time, just like they will give the Honorable Mithika Linturi time, to be able to table issues that touch the issue of fake fertilizer and the omission of the CS from his duties that resulted to what we are facing as a country. Thank you very much, honorable members.
Thank you.
My lady, I wholly adopt what my able-learned friend, Lady Asha, has said to you. And I reiterate very politely and very respectfully, let Honorable Linturi, Cabinet Secretary, go. He is not fit to continue to be in office.
Thank you, Senior Counsel. Honorable Wamboka.
Yeah, we still have some 11 minutes.
Okay.
Honorable Chair, one of the key, a minister must be trusted because he represents himself. What a minister sees,
we apologize.
Chair, a minister holds that office in trust. A minister must be trusted. A minister has a duty to give the right information to Kenyans. As we will be demonstrating, this minister, my good friend, the Honorable Mithika Linturi, on this case of fertilizer, he gave the Kenyan public information over the same subject, 4 versions. Initially, there was no fertilizer. There is no fake fertilizer. Initially, there's only 3,000 bad fertilizer on the market. But the minister went ahead to even tell Kenyans about soil moisturizer. Honestly, we shouldn't have reached here. We should not even be discussing this matter, because Kenyans need to discuss the minister. Kenyans need the truth and nothing but the truth. As we will be demonstrating, this is not the first time we have scandals in that ministry. As part of the reasons why, if you go through a submission, the minister should be impeached. This is not the first scandal in the Ministry of Agriculture and Livestock Development. We had the sugar scandal. Kenyans kept quiet. Someone had to speak, Madam Chair, about this. We have a lot of trust in this committee. Because as members of parliament, we are people's representatives. And the good thing, when I look around, composition of this committee, most of them are from agricultural zones. Most of them. Kenyans are watching us. I have absolute trust that we are going to get to the bottom of this. And if 149 was not enough, when the minister was waiting for 250, we shall give it. We shall give him. We shall give you, Mr. Minister. We shall give you. Because the mood in the country, the mood in the National Assembly, Madam Chair, is so sweet. It's so sweet that Kenyans are tired of such things. We have now higher cases of diseases. Some of them as a result of this. We are waiting for reports from medics. To what extent has the fertilizer affected humanity? Where it come from? Madam Chair, there's no maize anymore. We don't have it. I don't know what this government will do. I don't know. Even if Honorable Linturi were to remain, I don't know what he will do. I don't know what he will tell those people from Western, from the Rift Valley, from the highlands of Kenya, from central Kenya. I do not know, because we don't have food. Kenya is glaring at a catastrophe. Courtesy of an individual. Be the Yonah, be the biblical Yonah. When the ship was sinking, Madam Chair, when the ship was sinking, because of one person, Yonah opted to drop himself in the waters. It is a moral question, Honorable Minister, for the sake of Kenyan people. Whether, assuming this motion does not go through, assuming, how will you serve? Where will you go? Where will you discharge your mandate? Kenyans are bitter. Be the biblical Yonah, and we shall respect you. That's all we are asking, Madam Chair. Not that anyone hates the person of Mithika Linturi. No. As I said, he's my friend. His best friend and a lawyer, Gitonga. We share a social group called the Chairman's Lodge. He is my wakili, the man seated on his left. He is a family friend. I've been to his place when I was campaigning. These are the people who came to my home. So there is nothing personal. Nothing absolutely, Honorable Chair. Nothing personal. Nothing. In fact, we are saving him. We are saving him. Because how will you serve? How will you go to Bumula? How will you go to Ahero? How will you go to Mbere? Embu? How will you go to Kiambu? How will you go to the food basket of this country? Trans Nzoia? How? And as a minister, you must go. How? Those Kenyans will not allow you. Because they are angry and not happy. They are angry. We support the president, William Ruto. We support him on this, the policy of food security. We support him. We support him. And at times politically, you know, politics at times is very tricky, Madam Chair. When someone has committed a crime, you go back to your people and say, I'm targeted. I'm targeted. And people start sending delegations. Oh, go. Enda sema mambo mzuri. Enda sema ukiguza Linturi umeguza Wameru. Hapana! Sio Wameru bwana. Wameru ni watu wazuri. Tuwaheshimu sana ndugu zetu Wameru. Hata amefika ni mtu mzuri, lakini mambo haya yamefanyika kwa wizara yake. So we understand, and that is why we are helping the president. We are helping the president. It is the parliament, it's the National Assembly that has sacked Honorable Linturi, as it were. It is not the president. I know the president's hands may be tied. Tafadhali ndugu zangu, tuwakilishe Wakenya. Wakenya wameumia na wanaendelea kuumia. Na wanaendelea kuumia. Na wanaendelea kuumia. That a minister can give 4 different versions of the same story, it is a disaster. A disaster. That a minister can go, as we will be proving to this house, to